there might be a little bit of a change of events going on here. I've told you that we have an arts and literary festival that goes on in Printers Row every year, and it looks like today is that day. So I don't think they're going to go up to the Air and Water Show, which is a big event here in Chicago. I think they're going to spend a lot of their time here in Printers Row. We're going to go through here real quick. They're setting up and just see kind of what's going on in the area. I'm going to turn the camera around for a second. So it is the Art Fest, right? One, I want to see if Scientology has anything going on in here today. This is set up very much like the literary festival will be. So you're seeing an awful lot of artwork here. Howdy, Pop Smurf. We are on Dearborn Street here in Chicago, one block east of where the Church of Scientology is. The Art Fest is going on today, so this is again going to be a fairly dense foot traffic area. And I would say not surprising if we would see Scientology out here today. And the farmers market. Yeah, today I will be honest, I thought I was going to have to head up to the Air and Water Show. Let's look over here at the farmers market. I just want to make sure there's nobody out and about yet. It's early, it's just now 9 o'clock. So it's unlikely that Scientology would be here yet. Kind of just wandering around here. I want to get back onto Printers Row. Howdy, Style Audit. I think this is going to be a day where we might see Scientology out in force. Oh, look at all the baked goods over here. Seeing some microgreens, again, bakery. A lot of farmer veggies. I'm trying to talk a little bit because I hear some music here in the background, so I want to make sure we're talking over that. Howdy, James. I'm using the YouTube app today, so I won't be able to highlight questions, but I'll try to repeat them. So again, we're at the art festival here in Printers Row. I want to head over and see if there's any activity in front of the cult over at 650 South Clark Street. By the way, there is some interesting art here. Like, if you ever get a chance to, this is a great festival. You'll see the same vendors at the Gold Coast Art Festival as well. Strangely, the Gold Coast Art Festival it takes place in Grant Park. Little coffee grinders and pepper mills, pottery, ceramics. Furniture. Feel like we should be on Windy Wanders this morning. Yeah, all of this does look to be art, jewelry, physical elements. I'm not seeing anything literary down here, so this is not the book fair that I've been talking about on the channel. I'll say that I did get an eyeball from the two security people there. My expectation is that while it is a fair, it is still open to the public, so there should be no issue going through there with a camera and recording today. If anybody knows how to look up permits in Chicago, I would love if you could figure out if there's anything scary or nefarious about the art festival in Printers Row. It's on Dearborn Street. So they're setting up right now. I'm guessing that it probably opens, you know, the farmer's market was open. The farmer's market probably opens somewhere around 8 or 9 o'clock. So it would have been open in the last half hour. The farmer's market was kind of full. The art festival, there was nobody there yet, but you could tell that most of the people were setting up their stands. Most likely it's going to be a 2-day festival. So you know, today is set up, and then they'll present for the rest of the day. And then tomorrow they'll start by presenting their artwork and then shut it down or start breaking it down at the end of the day. Yeah, I probably will go back through there. I just kind of want to take a run over here, get a lay of the ground or a lay of the land. There is something strange going on over here. There are a bunch of appliances out here on the street. Can't tell what's really going on over there. They might be setting up a new set of apartments in the building. ABT is an electronics store, kind of elite. It's a massive, independently owned electronics store up on the North Shore. Most people, if they're going to buy a big TV, fancy music stuff, they're heading over to Apt. We're coming up on the org. They might have the shades down, but it might be, right, it's probably that it's kind of early and they're not open for business just yet. Got some students moving in. Yeah, so there's still blinds down from yesterday, right? Or overnight, right? I'm going to walk past all of those crates that are on the other side of the street. I just want to see what that is. Howdy, Sandy. How we doing? Yeah, there is nothing going on. Sorry, I'm looking over there, and I always look, and I never let you guys know. Right, so there's nothing really going on there right now. The two people that we're standing on the street, they're waiting for this person on my side of the street, and those are college students. Yeah, I think that what's happening here is this wing of Imprint was under construction for the longest time. And they are just now setting up these apartments. So you've got all the windows open here, and you're seeing you know, all sorts of refrigerators here, or stacked washer dryers. Yeah, it's stacked washer dryers. So they're setting up the apartments to get ready to start renting them. Remember, this Imprint is one of the locations where the Scientology staff members will be birthed, and we've heard numbers, you know, 6 to 9 people in a studio apartment. I'm gonna head back across the street real quick. This speed pack box here, again, it's because the students are moving into the college dormitories. Let's look here. Yeah, I thought it was 9:30. So while there should be people in here early, they don't really open till 9:30. There is light on here. I can see light. I don't think there's anybody, I can't see motion. At this time of day, the blinds work rather effectively. I can't see through them. Like at night, I can penetrate through those pretty easily. Now we still should see staff members arriving. I'm just not seeing anybody in uniform at this point. Again, if they are doing a heavy body routing day, it would not surprise me that we would see people in civilian clothing. Not sure what our temperature is supposed to be here today. We've had a bit of a couple of cool days here, which very enjoyable. Absolutely, James. Lights are on, but nobody's home. Now, I'll be honest with you. I always say that there is no light in Scientology, but it's all darkness. And they fear the light, right? Oh, got a staff member here coming down the alley. Good morning. Very non-responsive, which probably doesn't surprise us. Not seeing any activity down there by the door. Let me see. Darn it. There. So we do see, right? Oh. She's getting in her car. Her car has Florida license plates on them. So I'll look here. Right. So that car has Florida license plates on them. No front license plate. So it's, in Illinois, you need a front and a rear license plate. Let me rephrase that. In Illinois, you can drive under whatever restrictions your home state requires. But if your car is registered in Illinois, you need a front and a rear license plate. Again, hi Sandy McKenna, hi Auditing Scientology, hi Lady E. Boy, we've got all the South Africans are here today. James. I think South Africa has been had some great showings at the Olympics. The other one, the 200 meter champion was Botswana, not South Africa, but down on the southern side of Africa. And that is, historically, the North American continent has been dominating sprints. So very interesting to see the Southern African or the South African continent starting to show up there. When I was younger, one of my favorite events is the steeplechase. I used to run that in college. And the American had a great showing, losing out to the reigning Olympic champion. So no shame there. Nobody would have expected him to have been in second place anyhow. It was a great race. Yeah, it is strange, Greg, that like the idea of revenue in many states. If you're in like states like Wyoming, no property tax. Nevada, I don't think has property tax or sales tax, right? All of their money, all of their revenue basically comes from the gambling taxes. You've got, California and then Illinois, where I'm at, which have stupidly high tax rates, both property and income taxes. Oh, that's right. I think Nevada was no income tax as well. And then, yes, you've got the different speed limits. Historically, Montana had the unlimited speed limit, which everybody thought, okay, cool, let's go up there. And it was that as long as you're driving safely, they don't care what speed limit you're going at. Eventually, the Federal Highway Commission said, if you want federal money, we need to see speed limits. All right, let's head back up the street. Sorry. Kind of crowded down here right now. I always wonder if they do things like, so today, again, this weekend will be a crowded weekend in Chicago. You've got the art festival that's a block away and the air and water show, which I think is the most heavily attended element. And the reason that they can do that is that, I see a staff member coming down the sidewalk right now. The reason that the air and water show can claim such a high account is that the spectating area for it is like 1.5 miles long. So they just estimate crowds. There's no ticketing. Looks like that's Chad as well with him. So, yeah. We had one of the Sakala brothers, and then Chad just headed into the org. Howdy, never in. I saw that you were up at the old org. I don't know if it was live yesterday, but I know you posted it yesterday. That remember that before they had the ideal org down here, they had an org up in Lakeview, 3011 North Lincoln Avenue. And that looks to be still run down. They kind of just painted over it with some blue paint, which you can still see through in that process. Sorry, just got some civilians walking down the street. Yeah, I couldn't see in the window, and I know you tried to look in the window. The last time I was up there, and it would have been really close to opening day or just after opening day. If you looked in through that front door, you were seeing garbage, like hefty garbage bags just stacked up all over inside. So no idea if that was an owned building or if they rented it or if Scientology owned it and then rented it back. So I'm not seeing anything new go in there. To your point, I'm sure the neighbors are very happy that Scientology is no longer there. I would say that I liked it more when it was up there because it was a sleepy little backwater, after school get together for Scientology. Whereas here, we're definitely seeing, last Saturday there was just a plethora of public coming into the day all day long. Early on, right, remember that if we look right behind this door, there's a foyer, and then there's a cafeteria. Looks like a Starbucks or any kind of little small coffee bakery shop that's there. And then as we look over here, this major room, or the bigger room, has 2 long aisles of media banks. So there's 1, 2, 3, there are 4 media banks that are facing facing over to this side, and then on this side there are 5 media banks. Now on the side that only has 4 media banks, there are dual media banks. So there's the media banks face one another, whereas on this side they just face out, and then on the wall side it's mostly artwork that we've got going on there. Yeah, Greg, that's a good question. You know, are they pulling back on body routing? Very possibly, and you're right, it does give them a bad look. Now, it gives them a bad look too, and I love that we have an audience here, and I love the loyalty and the civility of the audience. But does Scientology really care that, you know, my 2,000 followers are seeing this? Or maybe when Natalie's channel exposes some of it, then they get a little bit more concerned about what's going on. I do think that the people that keep on hearing me kind of rant at them as they body route, I do think that it does start to sink in, that they realize that they're in a cult, or that they're in a high control group, or that some of the things that they're being told don't make sense, they don't line up. So that's something that potentially is why we're seeing less people here body routing. Again, there are several people that I have not seen for now a month and a half. And you know, that might be that they were Sea Org on loan. It might be that they've been asked to go to one of the other places in the across the nation where maybe, right, we know Battle Creek is fundraising, and that Joe Cicala, the founder of Dream Exchange, he's called an empire builder, and he's the one that's in charge of raising the money for Battle Creek. So did he draft some of these people to go up there to help him start raising money up there to get their ideal org going? Yeah, it could, you know, Style Audit's got a point there. It's been very, very hot out. And they do force these people to be out in their uniforms very often. Like, I can't imagine wearing a 3-piece suit in the weather that we get here in Chicago in the summertime. That it's also could be that there's attrition, right? That maybe these people are giving up on the beliefs and the theories and the speeches and the fantasy of the cult. Which that would be awesome, and I wish that if that is the case, that any of those reached out to me. I'd really love to talk to them. If you're an under the radar and you have a story, by the way, if you're an under the radar and you know anything about Chicago, I'm trying to get more names on more of these faces. I do have a video that's going to come out soon, which is going to be the first month of all the new faces. So that'll be all the faces that we saw in March. And then I'll do one for April, June, July as well. It's pretty fun going through the old video. Well, it's painful because not that I'm good now, I was much less good then. But also that we saw, like, Chadwick showed up much earlier than I thought he did. Anastasia showed up much earlier than I remembered her showing up. So folks, at the very end of the alley, you can see the U-Haul truck, but that's going to be a residence down there. That has nothing to do with Scientology. one of the things that I have to get more accustomed to, and if you guys could remind me, I'd really love it. I need to take better pictures. Like whenever we see clusters of staff members or public entering, I need to pull out my other phone and start taking photographs, because I only get 720 on the video here, and we can tell that it's just really blurry stuff. Now, I think that Pinche Becky helped a lot. I think we did discover who it was. That was the jerk that said, well, I have a child and they didn't abuse my child. And the other one was when we were talking about the idea that there were people who were told their father was dead, and years later, right, that Bob Ferris shows up and he goes, oh, I'm the dad, that's me, right? And just a really despicable human being, in my opinion. And what do we know about my opinion in this channel? Up, you know, got another staff member showing up for work. Anything positive to share about the church? Nothing positive? So you notice, well, he had a lot of water, but also the blue vest. So most likely a transition staff member coming in. So Scientology Auto was talking about the idea that felt that somebody had been stalking them or following them back to their vehicle. And then, you know, yeah, we go back through our old video to say, hey, have we seen that person before? And it sometimes does lead us to, oh, yeah, okay, so how can we connect? It makes it easier to connect the people to the church and to understand whether or not we're paranoid or if there actually is somebody chasing us. Yeah, they do try to keep their heads down. And it's funny, in some of those early videos, you could see the people, they put their hand over their face as they walk past me. And it's, again, do whatever you can not to be on film. And we know that it's not film, but I still get to say film. Thank you, Dorothy Walters. I try to do what little I can. So now it's 9:26. The staff should pretty much be in there by now. Kind of looking down the street, see if I can see any more uniforms down there. You know, they do use their phone network pretty well. If it's a staff member, they have no problem telling a staff member, hey, go in through the alley. Publics, I'm sure it's a little bit more challenging to get a public to understand why they're doing. Oh, here's a staff member late, the young skateboard guy number 2, the taller of the skateboard guys coming down. So the employees, there may be some Sea Org people here. It's getting close. You cut that close today, right? Got to get time in the cult as quickly as possible. So that guy was almost late to his cult meeting. Here we have the shades person. Anything to share about your church today? Nothing positive about the cult of Scientology? Scientology doesn't have anything positive to say today? You could see the two guys that walked by, they kind of giggle about the idea that, oh, it's a cult, right? Right on for giving them giving them trouble. I'm just up in the air because we got people walking by. Yeah, oh, sorry, there was a question about our Publix employees. So the staff members are employees, but as much as, we always hear the terrible thing about the Sea Org members, and the Sea Org members are only getting paid, $47, $50 a week, whatever that number is. Well, the Sea Org members, they kind of get a much more consistent payout in that process. Now it's a crap payout. But the way that it works for the staff members here is that it's sort of like a seniority mechanism of I'm worth 3 points, you're worth 6 points, the next person's worth 12 points. What they do is they take up all of the revenue that was generated by the church that week, and then they divide it, weighted across all of the points that the staff members are worth, and that's what you get. If they don't make money, a staff member is not getting paid that week. All right? So the staff members get paid less than just about everybody, and they're the first ones to get hurt in that process, where if the church doesn't do well that week, the staff members are the ones that take the brunt of that. Now, most staff members have another job as well. So they'll have a day job, and then they'll do their other 8 hours here as well. Can't really tell if this one's waiting to get in or not. We've just got some public coming by. Yeah, the one in white down here, it might be nothing, but she's kind of been lingering around, head down into her phone, but she's gone past the church both ways twice now. Howdy, Fluffer Squirrel. Folks, if you don't know, Fluffer Squirrel, right, is part of the team that puts together sptv.space. She manages the list of channels that are out there. So if you want your channel to be listed, you as the channel owner need to contact her. All right. And then you've got Z News out of Kansas City, who does the development for the making sure to find out who's live and who's not. And some of the other technical elements of the site. And Brigitte, who's doing a lot of the resources. Brigitte has an awful lot of language abilities, so she's able to find, she does interviews in multiple languages, so you're seeing that. And then you've got, is it Scientology Geek? Are you okay that women can't report sexual abuses against them in this church? That looked like a public. I don't recognize that person from before, the larger male in the blue t-shirt. But is it Skyrider 140, Skyrider 180? They do the Wikipedia page. I think that Scientology Geek is the one that has been feeding Scientology volumes into Skyrider 140. Thank you, Fluffer. Has been feeding ChatGPT. Howdy. Just a father and their daughter, I'm going to presume daughter, getting ready to move into the dorm next door. All right, we're just after 9:30. There's a cluster of people coming down the street. I want to keep them off camera. Good morning, Annette. Yeah, Skippy, that's an interesting element, right? The idea that, let's talk a little bit about the economics or the finances of trying to be a staff member here. That if you were getting $50 a week, a coffee at Dunkin' Donuts is $4, right? If you were to get a sandwich or anything on this street, your lunch is probably averaging $12 to $16. At $50 a week, you can eat 3 meals. Right. Now, a Sea Org member is supposed to get their meals paid for, but this isn't a Sea Org organization. This building is not meant to be Sea Org. The only reason that Sea Org is here is that Sea Org has to augment the staff because they don't have enough staff members of this org. Now it comes to the idea that you've got Joe Cicala. Now, Joe Cicala is the founder of a company called Dream Exchange. They claim to be a minority-owned stock exchange. It's sort of like a stock exchange for venture capital type companies. I think we've got Jessica coming up the street now. She's going to go to the back door. So the blonde in all black down there, that's Jessica. If she does go around the corner, I might go and give her a bit of a challenge, meeting her in the alley. She works at Dream Exchange, right? She is one of the people. So my understanding is the salary is $30,000 plus a month of Joe Cicala paying staff members here for their work they do at Dream Exchange. Now that still isn't, if you think about it, 30,000 is not to a person. 30,000 is the sum of all of the monies spent on people who are staff members here at the Church of Scientology in Chicago. Sorry, I'm looking down the street trying to see which way she goes. For some reason, she's gone towards Dearborn. Not sure why. Howdy. When first I heard like there are people here that they have a job at Dream Exchange, why are they in the studio apartments across the street? Howdy, Dave. How you doing? Why are they in the studio apartments across the street? And then I realized that, well, they get a salary from Dream Exchange, but they're not six-figure salaries that they're getting. They're doing very menial work there, and it's very likely that there is mismanagement of funds, allegedly, right, going on there in order for them to pay this, because he donates a very high amount as well. And there wouldn't be that much profit going on in the early days of that organization such that he could afford to pay. There's got to be 20 members of his leadership staff that are members of this church, or the staff members of this church claiming to also work for Dream Exchange, right? All right, given the time, I kind of want to walk through Dearborn. So all the staff members should be here by now. We might start seeing public come in, but I'm going to take the next 10 minutes or so, and we're going to take a run down the art festival. Yeah, style audit. I will say that Shannon was able to uncover, I didn't follow her story very closely, but she was able to uncover some financial shenanigans going on there. And that doesn't surprise me. It is very likely that they are misappropriating funds. I have no internal knowledge of that, but I will say that based upon my understanding of how an early days startup who's trying to raise funds to create either a hedge fund or a brokerage you're not making that much money on transactions yet to the point where you could have a staff as large as what we're seeing in the Dream Exchange staff. Now, Dos Tequila has been involved with Scientology for a long time. In 2005, it was the first reported element of the fundraising that they did in order to open up this church. And the person that threw the party for that fundraising was Randy Kretschmar. And then his wife, Cheryl, I'm going to say Benson, I'm wrong about that, but it's Cheryl something. She was an executive at, yeah, I agree, auditing Scientology. I don't think there's any revenue there right now. Now, they have had investors, so they keep on putting out press releases of people joining the team. Now, I don't know if they're trying to create a family investment house, which would be, the nice thing about a family investment house is that you don't have to kind of show your books to anybody outside. It's a private organization. And so they only trade their own money in that space. But I don't really know what's going on there at all. We're going to head to the art festival here. Now it looks like the streets are fully closed off. So when we first got here, they still had cars being able to drive down there, but it was to offload their vendor wares. We're seeing there's a band here, or they've got a stage. Got World's Best Ice, graffiti art here. Want to kind of get away from the speakers as quickly as I can. So, Valerie Mazza. What I'm really trying to find out is if, and there aren't any booths here that are Scientology, at least on the first pass. There was nothing that was obviously Scientology. Now that doesn't mean that they won't try to mingle around the crowd or through the crowd and pass off propaganda. We know that we've caught them several times in this little, so the art festival is happening here on the street, and then you've got the farmer's market over here. And in the farmer's market, the first time that we saw them in here, there were flyers being set out on many of the tables. So we definitely know that Scientology was trying to come through here and recruit people, or at least pass out their propaganda. Now that day it was Way to Happiness that was out here. By the way, if you read Way to Happiness, it's a fairly positive story, right? There's nothing nefarious with Way to Happiness itself. The issue is, it's kind of that lost leader that says, see, we're this nice group that just does these happy thinking, smiley, happy path scenarios. Sorry. But then they kind of pull you back in and say, hey, if you enjoyed that book, try this book, or try this element. Yeah, and I'm still looking around to see if I can find any of the staff members that I recognize. Howdy. Not seeing anything in here yet. Let's punch back out to the street. I don't know if maybe it's because I've got sunglasses on, but the lighting looks very dark on the camera right now. Hopefully you guys are able to see that fairly well. Go back and see if we've got any questions here. Howdy Perth. Howdy Yidra. Yadira. Yadira. How's that? Howdy. Hi. So I was kind of overhearing the speaker, and the woman that we just passed is somebody who's associated with this org. This is interesting. The astronaut, little astronaut girl. I do like these abstract paintings here, right, that show you cities. Now as we come down to the end here, there is a new, oh, let me look at the directory here real quick.
I don't know. Now, does it do two?
I don't think it's top. Is this two?
That's three.
I stopped at one.
No, we're going all the way.
Yeah, and they're just trying to get the last parts of setup there. Gonna head back over to the org. You know, we've only seen less than 10 staff members come in since we've been here. They might have been here earlier, right? I didn't come over to the org until just after 9 o'clock. We saw the skateboard kid. He ran up there with at 9:27 just to get in before the bell rang. Style, there's an awful lot of good style out here. They probably need your critiques. Again, we're seeing that they're looks like they're building out this last wing of Imprint. So originally it was the high-rise part of Imprint that has all of the apartments that are ready and that we're leasing and being rented. And then we've seen construction on this wing. When I get on the other side of the street, I'll show you what I'm talking about. That there's a wing to the that goes horizontally, and the pool is on top of it. But these 3 floors right here, or maybe it's just 2 floors there, and then you've got the pool on top. That's all part of Imprint, but this was torn down later, right, or remodeled later, and the guys are the building is bringing in all of the appliances. So we're seeing stacked washer and dryers up and down the street there. Howdy, Amy. Welcome in. Hey, Perth, is there a date for the Australian event, or is that going to be announced kind of day of? Howdy, Misfit. Howdy, Patrick. Welcome in. So there is an awful lot of activity down here today. I came down with the expectation that I would be here and I would be able to see people walking into the org as the org opened up. I'm trying to keep on flushing out a portfolio of the members, right? So that we can see and at a glance or have a list of all the images. And then if there are other people in Chicago that either are under the radar or recently out or know these people, I would love to be able to get that information so I could associate names to these people. But I did expect that after I did that I would start seeing body routers come out because we've got the Chicago Air and Water Show. Now that doesn't start until like 11 o'clock. So We'll see if they take advantage of that. What I didn't know was happening was the art festival, which is only one block over, and that's just a much better play. Right there, it's much closer. If they pass off flyers there, those people will come over here and check it out, or have a higher probability of coming over here to check it out. If you were to hand off flyers up at the Air and Water Show, that's going to be about 2.5 miles away from here. So anybody attending that is probably not walking back here, at least not today. Now, what's troubling is, right, it might be stuck in a back pocket or something like that, and then on the day that you break up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, you reach in your pocket, or you look in the drawer and you find the Scientology element, and that's a big worry, right? One of the reasons why I think it's important that I capture that media is so that it doesn't sit in somebody's room, sit in their pocket, sit in a drawer until a day where they're feeling low, because we know that that's one of the advantages of a story like Scientology's, is that when you're feeling low, they're gonna take advantage of you, right? Or you're going to seek out alternative methods of help, and this is one of those. Howdy, Fuzzy. Hey, Fuzzy, we've had an awful lot of channels in. I don't know if we can or if they're still in, but you know, let's see if we can get some of those links out there. I really appreciate that. Hopefully you're doing well here today. Let's go see if the back alley has any activity. One of the things that if you were here, yes, that's right. We need to put Fuzzy Pink in the detention area. One of the things that you would have seen here is that when I first got, or well, early on when I got here, we did see an older female, and I apologize, a non-teenage female coming out of the alley. She did go into this garage, and she got into a car that had Florida plates on it. Does anybody know of any place in Florida that has Scientology people? Yeah, Fred, I'm looking for them too. I'm going to say that they might be low on people. Now, they also might be telling people, take this stuff home, but I just don't think they trust people with their to do that. But, you know, take this home and leave from your house tomorrow to go out and do the body rotting. I'm going to say that we've seen very, very few people here. We didn't see a lot of staff come in, and I think that I've really only seen 2 publics come in here. Yeah, we're not seeing anything back here. Seeing no activity. Those birds are there, but unless the birds are smoking. Is that what it is, Bridge? I'm not going to go in and get the number on this, but does Florida tell you like the county? In Illinois, you can see the county on the license plate. So let me see if I can find anything on here. Yeah, it looks like in Florida they just do a statewide, so it says it's the Sunshine State on their license plate. Certain states, depending on where you're registered, you'll get maybe a county designation on it. And I just wanted to see if we'd see that it was from down in Clearwater. So we're still trying to suss out what we think Scientology's plan of attack is going to be here today, right? Are they going to try to paper the art festival? Are they going to try and paper the Air and Water Show? since they do have vehicles, right, instead of having people walk out of the organization with flyers, will they travel out of the organization, right? Will they get in cars? Right? It's as much as I can walk and even run, most cars can still go faster than me. You know what? Let me go look from afar on that car to see if there's any designations that way. Does the Scientology parking lot, like when they have the big parking lots there in Clearwater, do you need stickers to go in there? Yeah, Fred, there's a lot of misstatements that they'll make. The idea that they're able to and they should confront and shatter anybody, right? And we've noticed that they have never attempted to confront nor shatter me. They have never tried to contest when I've spoken to somebody that they've given a flyer to. Yeah, the car has no, oh wait. There is a hanging flyer in there. Let me see what that is. Oh, that's for up here. So the hanger says they're here through August 24th. Right, so Scientology will tell you that they can confront and shatter. And I used to always wonder why they would never talk, like whenever they'd hand off a flyer, they don't really talk to that person that much. They just kind of say, hey, would you like this? And then the church is just over here. They're not giving them information, right? Because as we know, in Scientology, you don't tell people about the religion, you tell them to buy a book. Now, if they believe in their technology, if they believe in their philosophy, why won't they challenge me about the things that I tell the recipients of these flyers? Right. One of them is because they're true. Another one is, I'm an SP and they're not supposed to talk to me, but they're not talking to me. They're giving up an opportunity of a recruit in that scenario. But yeah, they definitely do not know how to confront and shatter. And if their technology was correct, why don't they debate it? Why don't they challenge what I'm saying? It is so easy for me to gather the propaganda that this cult hands out. Yes, there should be a street sign here that says that it's a culty activity area. Yeah, sort of like don't pick up hitchhikers when you're near the prison. Don't pick up flyers. As I look up there, right, you can see in through the shades, but the shades are drawn. But the lights are on that second room. That second floor room is rather large. It's wide. It's not very deep. It's only probably 15, 20 feet deep, but it's the entire width of those two windows that are there. Yeah, Fred, when we first got here, and again, I was telling people earlier that I'm going over some of the earlier videos that we had. Chadwick Burke, now Chadwick Burke is kind of infamous for, he's the staff member behind Boobgate, or Boobtology. Excuse me. He would cam back us quite a bit. So he would always try and get us on camera and naturally, I'm going to wave. How you doing? Yeah, I've got no issue with you taking my picture or my images. Yeah, so Chadwick also did guard the dumpster. He's the one that on the night when they finally had the college recruiters, and they sent the college recruiters into Columbia College, which is right next door, right? So, oops, sorry. You've got the Scientology org right here. We saw people come out of this door, go in that door right there, which is the Columbia College dormitory, and they keyed themselves in. So they were students. If they had access cards in there, they had to have been students or tenants, but all tenants in there are students. And Chadwick came out and said, hey, would you like to have an interview with a Scientologist? And I said, sure, no problem. And he said, oh, come down here. I said, how about right here? And he's come down here. It's like, well, I know you're trying to lure me away from the door. He walked about 4 doors down, and finally I turned around and came back. That's, as soon as I came back, that's when we started seeing people come out and try to start doing the recruiting. Chadwick was not, Chadwick didn't self-declare, nor do I ever see him on any of the rolls of Dream Exchange. Now, Chadwick Olson, so there's a Chad Olson as well. Chad Olson is the, let's say, he's built for stability in high winds. He is a Dream Exchange employee. I think that Chadwick Burke, I think that his family was well-to-do. Anybody? Got a beautiful Dobie just come by. Got it. So one thing that I think it's important that I'm out here doing this is that, if we look at this, this is a very uninviting look. They will not pull these blinds up while I'm out here, right? They don't want, again, I don't want to understand why they're saying it, but they don't want those blinds to be down. They don't want to see people to see how empty this organization is. Oh, here we've got some. Anything positive to share about your church? Is there nothing positive about the cult of Scientology? You could see the smirk on the other person. Now it's 10 o'clock here. Trying to figure out if staying here is our best scenario, or if we should head up towards oh, you're fine. No, you're fine. I'm trying to look at the Patrick question. Yeah, you know, I would guess, you know, LA would be the most likely place that he would have gone, because Delphi is out that way, I thought. And if Delphi is out that way, that might be where his family's from as well. No, MD Media saw the Denver Scientologist. And you guys always tell me his name, and I always forget his name. But there was a Scientologist in Denver who attacked Jay and tried to grab Jay's phone. Jay then tackled him to the ground, kept him on the ground until the police arrived. So he is the one MD Media saw. Yeah, Curtis Johnson, thank you. He's the one that MD Media has confirmed is out in LA. I really wish I would have been in court on that appearance when Nance Drew was describing Chad as looking disheveled, had a beard. That I'm curious. I wish I would have seen that. So we've just learned that Patrick Skinner can't be clear because his perfect recall is not there. The other one, let's definitely try and keep Nance in your thoughts. Nance has been prohibited from. How you doing? She's disallowed, which I believe that's a violation of her First Amendment right. Her First Amendment right. She's disallowed from talking on social media about the church, which, quite honestly, she doesn't have a case against the church. She has a case against Chadwick Burke. And the state. So it doesn't make any sense to me that they were able to silence her in that regard. I would definitely be questioning my lawyer if I was told that, that on August 5th, we learned that she wouldn't be allowed to be anywhere near the church. And then this past week, the ruling came down that she couldn't talk. She had a gag order and couldn't talk on social media. So let all of us talk for her. What I don't understand, and again, I do want to go after the state's attorney, and I understand that you're not. I don't want to. I'm not going to do it while the trial's going on. But this is an incredibly biased prosecution that's going on in this space. There is nobody else in this city that this would have happened to if it wasn't for Joe Cicala, who is not an attorney of record on anything going on here, right? Yeah, this is the cult of Scientology. Oh, yeah. So there was hey, what's that guy with the camera? We're not there. Sorry. That Joe Cicala kept on getting in the prosecutor's ears and said, hey, don't let her go near 650 South Clark Street, which, quite honestly, Chadwick doesn't work here anymore. So why is that possibly there? Number two, why does she have a gag order? And the gag order's against the church, right? Or for protecting the church. And it's like, well, wait a second here now. I believe that the problem that is that she contacted a civilian or a citizen of the community, right? So why is the church involved in this particular scenario? But yeah, I'm definitely going to make sure I get to the newspapers. Yeah, Amy, it could be paid off, or it's also a good old boy society up here as well. That I'll do something. It doesn't necessarily have to be monetary, right? There can be other ways to pay somebody off. Yeah, there's another channel I watch, What the Hales, in Florida, and the church, the judge gave him a gag order as well. Yes, no face. That's what we're talking about here. Howdy. Just to remind everybody, what had occurred that day is we were putting chalk. Protesters were putting chalk down here on the sidewalk. Scientology would come out with water to try to remove that, and that we never gave them any, there was no contest if they wanted to clean up the sidewalk here. That was a non-issue. However, the chalk that they were trying to clean up, and they walked through Nance in order to do that and claimed that Nance touched them with a breasticle, was not in front of their property. Now, quite honestly, they have no claim to this property. This property is no more theirs than it is mine, right, in regards to what's going on. Now, I will tell you, the what the hails, usually there's about 3 seconds of good stuff on there. Okay, so this is Niko, and Niko's got, if you go to the blog post for the Scientology staff, that's Niko that just walked out, and he's got the Scientology shirt on. Sorry, let me... Just had the fire truck come by. Niko is in the Dianetics shirt today. I don't see any flyers. He had his phone in one hand and nothing in the other hand. He might, a lot of times they'll go down to the juice bar, grab a juice and then come back. I'll keep my eye on him. I can't remember what Niko's last name is. I'm using my other phone real quick to look it up. Sorry, folks. I'll get back to you in a second. Sorry, it's not Niko, it's Nino. Nino Aquino is a Scientologist in Chicago. So this is the blog post that I'm talking about, and you'll be able to see several of the people that we see here fairly frequently, and who they are. Right. So this is Chad Olson. He's the other one. Anastasia, we haven't seen Anastasia for about a month. There's Chadwick Burke. He graduated Delphi in 1999. Jessica, Crystal, and Joey. Joey is the executive director. Crystal is his wife. They had a wedding here back in April, I think. Might have been March. Regardless, the fun thing there was we got to see Joe Cicala slink in the back door, right? And when he figured out that I knew who he was, he turned around and kind of gave me a nasty look. All right. Nino he's going down towards Target. Now, one thing is, those are two residential buildings there as well. They might have, worn out their welcome in place A or place B, and they might be rehousing people down there. I've said this many times that while we're confident there's some augmentation of the staff here by Sea Org, we don't understand how they're doing that. Like, are they getting paid meals? Are they getting, does this organization have to pay to house those people? Because on a typical base where Sea Org is at, right, and we know that here in the States that's Flag Land Base and then PAC Base, that they have dormitories there. So the people live on site and they have cafeterias there, so they eat on site as well. They don't have that kind of infrastructure here, so how does Sea Org survive when they're here visiting a base or augmenting the staff here at this base? Now the persistent people that we would have seen when they were up in Lakeview, and I see many of them. Many of them ride the same train I do. They live pretty far northwest in the city. I will see them trying to get on the train. Yeah, there's still nothing going on back here. Hey Cubs, how you doing? Today, there's a lot of events going on here in the city. So just one block over is an art festival, which is a closed street. It's closed to vehicles, but pedestrians are fully free to go up and down the street. Then there's a farmer's market there as well. And then the Air and Water Show is this weekend here in Chicago. So my hope was, or expectation was, that they would be out here trying to do body routing. We haven't seen anybody yet. The only one that we've seen come out, and he was in a Dianetics t-shirt, so right, that is a good indicator that says that body routing will ensue, that they're going to talk about Dianetics. Now remember, when they body route, they try to obscure the idea that they're Scientology. So they're not telling people that it's Scientology. They're telling people it's Way to Happiness or it's CCHR. Just a second, I got a fire truck coming up behind me. All right, we're gonna head over to the street festival. Again, I haven't seen somebody come out of the org, so I don't think that they're mingling amongst the crowd. No idea what time this art festival actually opens up, but we'll definitely take a pass through again. At this end, there's a band, and right now they're playing amplified music, so I'm going to try to get out of the blast radius of their sound, make sure we're not getting any copyright problems. So, got the band right here, just want to talk over them as much as possible. So, there we go, and they're just talking about stuff here. Got the world's best Italian ice. And then we've got the art fair itself. There's a farmer's market right down there. I'll look down there in just a second. Okay, I think, let me know if you can still hear the music. These are pretty amazing. I love these. I think they're on metal. Oh, that old tree in there. Oh, this is awesome. Table Mesa out in Canyonlands, Arizona, Utah. Some Chicago scenery. This is the planetarium. This is Lincoln Park looking south. So there's a little bit on the corner of Lincoln Park, there's a little private pond, and that's the little private pond. When I was in college, I'd come up here to do my studying. Nobody knew that pond existed. Again, we're just kind of quickly coming through here, see if we have any evidence of body routing. Not seeing anything out here. Let me go through the farmer's market real quick. So the farmer's market takes place every Saturday in the little park here. They also have music, so I want to keep on talking through this. Again, I'm trying to scan the crowd for uniforms. I tend to look at the tables to see if there's any Scientology propaganda sitting on a table, which is another thing that they'll do. They will, without permission, they'll drop the flyer on the table to make it look as something that the vendor is promoting. So this may surprise you, but Scientology sometimes lies and sometimes sucks. And by sometimes, I probably meant always. So the original song was Come Monday. Yeah, so, and again, this isn't a Scientology street, but this is an actual festival, right? This is people, having a coffee, looking through the crowds, seeing whether it's jewelry or whether it's artwork, sculpture, paintings. This I hadn't seen before. It looks like silk flowers. The American Gothic sign there, or look through.
Face straight. Yep. I'm gonna look to see if I notice any imbalances in the shoulders. Nice and level.
So there is a chiropractor here, but I'm not seeing anything showing Wise. Not that we would see Wise out at an event like this. And for those of you, right, Wise is the administrative management tool that Scientology tries to sell to dentists, chiropractors, doctors, organizations which tend to be able to flow or cash cow a lot of cash out, and they're just easy targets for Scientology. In order for you to then use the Wise technology, you then have to promote it internally, and your entire staff has to take some of the lower level Scientology classes, right? I don't know if it's Story of Man or Ups and Downs in the Real World. I don't think it's called Ups and Downs in the Real World, but it's something like that. And I'm sure that we've got plenty of people in here that are going to remind me of how silly I am. I'm going to give Half Sour a bit of a wide berth. They tend to play loud music. So we're coming back up to Clark Street. Now, Nino, the one that came out in the red shirt, he walked pretty far down this street. I just didn't want to keep on tracking him. He doesn't have a flyer with him, so, thank you, Vanessa. Ups and downs in life. Or as life is a journey. I want to ride all night long. We're heading up the street back towards this, the org. They still haven't opened up the blinds. They probably won't open up the blinds. That if they think I'm out here, they're just embarrassed and afraid to let the public see what's going on inside. Something that I also noticed is that, right, we just don't see the police anymore. Now, I know that I probably just opened up a terrible taboo there, but whether they stopped calling the police, I will say that I tend not to do things that would allow them to call the police, or the police have just stopped responding. It's been noticeable that there's been far fewer police interactions lately. Yeah, so we're still closed up, tight as a drum, right? So the cult has to keep their blinds closed. They don't want the public to see what's going on inside. And yes, that is said for the sake of the civilians that are walking down the street. Still haven't seen anybody come out, really, except for Nino. Now, one thing I don't like putting the college students on the camera. They didn't sign up to live their life on camera. Scientology, I have no problem with that. Right? And my foe is Scientology. My foe is not the students of Columbia College. I don't want them to be unhappy with the protesting community. I want them to understand that we're out here to help protect them. All right, what do we got right now? Yeah, so Amy, the people that you see moving, like you can see 2 suitcases right there, and then there's a speed pack. If you're in the moving industry, a speed pack is that the 3x4 cardboard box that you'll put a whole bunch of stuff into, and it sits on top of a crate, and then you'll use that crate to move. It sits on top of a 4x4 wheel cart. So yeah, they're moving in right now. This is them getting ready for the semester. If anybody ever asks me, like a lot of times what'll happen in these scenarios is, hey, what are you doing out here type thing? And then I'll explain to them. One of the concerns I have is that Columbia College and Dwight Loft, which is where this is at, Dwight Lofts has changed their policy so that only freshmen reside in this dormitory anymore. And what that means is that there's no consistency between semesters so that somebody can say, hey, beware the people next door, right? So they need to be re-educated every single time. Yep, there are parents here as well. Now, I'm going to tell you that it's just because of my style. My goal is not to walk up to students and their parents who haven't shown any interest. As soon as somebody shows interest, I'm more than happy to talk to them about it. But I just, whatever my personality is, I don't think it's my responsibility or privilege to be able to start a conversation with anybody. Yeah, there's nothing going on down the street there or down the alley. You know what I did notice is I don't have any of my cards readily available. So I'm gonna take a second here and pull some out of my backpack. Put this in my pocket real quick. Get my backpack back on. All right, heading back down the street, and many of you know, but I'm seeing some new names in here. Whenever I need to be able to communicate with people and I don't have, they don't want to spend time talking to me, I will hand them my business card. And my business card looks like this. So on the left-hand side, you see a scan code that takes you to that website where I showed you the blog of the Scientology staff members. But you also see Lisa McPherson, Serge Delmar, Rosemary Chickwick, that's Mike Brown's mother, and the Chase fraud. And then on the other side, right, the YouTube channel name, as well as Ask Me About Xenu, which is mostly taken from what Tori Magoo would always have with her and hand off to people that were interested or curious. And what this is that, hey, if they're going to take a piece of Scientology propaganda home, I'd love them to take this home as well. But it also gives them an opportunity in real time to see some of those proper noun names. But also with the scan code, they can then look up some of those stories that we're hearing that show the abuses and the crimes of Scientology. So this is all of the remnants of the last semester's students leaving all of their stuff out. Oh, we've got a Scientologist coming down the street. Now the good news here, right, when she comes down, now I get to say something like cult, and that can pique the interest of the parents' ears. You can see the woman coming up the street, right? Anything positive to share about your church? Is there nothing positive about the cult of Scientology? Does the church let you talk about the church? That makes it a cult, you know. That did draw attention. Howdy, Journey. Yeah, you know, it feels like they've got a wide spectrum of ages here, right? There are these new out of college that I see quite a bit. There are the older people, right? The male reg person. There's a guy in a flannel shirt that's always here. On Wednesday, I think it was, we saw the guy in the red, white, and blue checkered shirt. These are not young people. It's in the air. That was, again, some of the neighbors really are wary about the idea that there's a camera out here. Let them know that it was over their head, so they were not on the TV, or not on the camera. Yeah, Vanessa, I think that's a true statement, right? Very few Scientologists actually know about that. Yeah, please, if you have information, anything you think can help me, criticisms, compliments, please feel free to reach out to me. Windy City Thetan Watch at gmail.com. Howdy, Corn Freak. How are you today? We've got a couple of festivals over on Printers Road today. So on Dearborn, we've got the farmers markets there today, but there's also an art festival over there between Harrison and Polk. And then we've got the Air and Water Show, which I do want to head over that direction fairly soon. Usually I can only get a couple hours out of this phone. So what I might do is go ahead and take a break, charge up, grab some coffee, grab some breakfast, and then either head back here to see if they're doing anything on, if I can see that they're doing anything in the art festival, or head over to the Sky and Water Show. And by the way, the Sky and Water Show is pretty cool. I don't know how well it'll show up on film, but to see the Blue Angels and the military era and the old era airplanes, it's cool stuff. Yeah, I'm so happy that you woke up, Vanessa. And the idea that the more we know about what helps different people wake up, again, Tori, it was that somebody kind of made her realize that she was suppressing free speech, and that's what bothered her, right? Barefaced Messiah for you. Right? Howdy. Got a little family coming by. All right, folks, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to head over, grab some coffee, recharge all the batteries real quick. We've got Nino coming back, right? The gentleman that we saw leave with the Dianetics shirt heading south, he's now coming back. We'll see if we can talk to Nino and then head out. So if we can, Fuzzy, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people, but if there's anybody out there, that'd be great. Hey Nino, does the church let you talk about the church? You know, that's probably a cult. Do you read any books that aren't Scientology? So you have no freedom? I'm always out here protesting them. Do you know who they are?
I've been in there.
Yeah.
And I escaped.
Were you in this actual one, or were you in other ones? Okay. And the stuff that you saw in there, probably not that
I know a
scary,
lot.
right?
I went
Okay.
there
Yeah.
And I slept.
Yeah. Nice.
I actually, the day before I went in there, I was at a bar and I was talking to the girls. We should do a documentary on Netflix called Cover Science. I went in there the next day.
Nice. Nice. I like that.
And so, you know what? Honestly, I will say this though. I'm going to say the majority of them are
Correct. Yeah. That it's such a siloed organization.
That's coming from somebody who's in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Federal Reserve, everything. I was like, I know a lot about history.
Yeah.
I said, I just don't like cults.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you that I don't think that anybody in a cult knows they're in a cult.
No.
Right. So that's one thing. But then if we can start telling them that, hey, L. Ron Hubbard said this, do you see that happening? Right. They're not supposed to. They're supposed to be able to make their money on selling books and selling courses. They can't, so they do fundraisers. LRH said but L. Ron Hubbard was the original founder, right?
I know.
That he said we should be able to stand on our own merits, and that fundraising is squirreling the technology.
Well, what I got out of it was I'm Christian.
Yep.
I told him that.
Yeah.
So one, I'm Christian. Two, I don't believe in cults. And free thinker. And I was like, he was talking about dimensions.
Yep.
3D, 4D, 5D. And like this goes up to this D, and then there's 10 commandments in the Bible, and they have 14. So they're just kind of like almost adding on to like it's a man-made adding.
100%.
This is just me personally going in there, and I like to go in there and just kind of like not even hear just other religions, just find out what they're really
Correct.
about.
Yes.
I'm a very simple
Why not be educated about it?
I want to be educated. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that was
No.
my story.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, folks. He was talking very quietly.
It's actually in my civies.
Sorry about that. Corn, that's great to know that he's home and resting. Does the church let you talk about the church? You know, that might be a cult. All right, there's a guy coming by in the notebook, so I got a feeling he might be heading in too. Howdy. Thank you. He said keep up the good work. All right. I'm going to head over and grab some coffee. Corn, again, I'm very grateful and happy that your son's home. Hopefully it's a speedy recovery that we go through. So he went in there. He was out with his buddies at a bar one night, and he said, hey, do you know what's down there? And they talked about it a little bit, and we should do a documentary. So he walked in, and a couple of things that he had said in the little conversation we had right now is that most of them don't know what's going on in the bigger picture, right? And we know that, and we agree with that, right? That it is a siloed organization. You know, you heard my half of the conversation, that it is a siloed organization, and that, yeah, they don't know they're in a cult. They don't know that they're salesmen for a business in regards to the books and the courses that are going on. Then a little bit about, he's Christian, and the I didn't want to talk. He was talking so softly, and I would tell that his eyes were a little bit glassy. That the idea of were they communicative? Did they, when you said you were a Christian, did they say that's okay? Right. So I didn't really ask him a lot of questions like that. He also felt like a very intelligent person, and if you don't believe me, just ask him. So I don't think that he really wanted to hear any information from me. Folks, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. And by the way, subscribers aren't the big deal. It's the idea that you watch, and I really appreciate that all of you do watch. But if you subscribe and you hit the notification button, I will probably go live a little bit later. I'm going to take an hour. I'm going to let all the equipment charge back up, and then head back out. We'll come back over here just to see if they're trying to take advantage of the festival. And if not, we'll go up to the Air and Water Show. All right, we're gonna go see Hitzel. I'll try to see you over there. I'll watch you on my other phone because that one I have a lot of battery on it. So thank you all for being here. Like, subscribe. Please check out all the links that Fuzzy's been putting out there for you. I want to grow the community, right? Let's make sure that we're getting everybody some love here. So everybody have a great day. I will be back later. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.